Welcome back, students. Today we are going to discuss Unit 4 Organism and Environment, Environmental Issue Part 2. Before I start the main content, I would like to inform that the images used in our slides are for education purpose only. We respect intellectual property right of the original creator and owner of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this PPT, have any concern, any issue, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. In this particular video lecture, we are going to discuss some points related to solid waste, hospital waste, e-waste, case study of remedy for plastic waste, polyband, integrated organic farming, greenhouse effect, deforestation, reforestation, Chipko movement, and Vishnoi movement. So first of all, solid waste. Solid waste refers to everything that goes out in the trash. Okay. In solid waste, the municipality solid waste are come from our offices, our home, our schools, hospital. Collectively, we can use the term municipality solid waste for the same. Okay, and this municipal solid waste generally comprises various type of waste like paper, plastic waste, food, glass, metals, rubber, leather, textile, etc. Okay, and their burning can reduce the volume of the waste, although it is generally not burned to completion. Okay, so these solid waste actually act as a main platform or a source for rat and flies as their breeding station. Okay, and sanitary landfills were also adopted as the substitution for open burning dumps. Okay, in sanitary landfill, waste are dumped in the depression or trash after compaction and covered with dirt every day. So this is how sanitary landfill procedure occur. In metro cities, it has increased so much that these sites are getting filled too. Okay, there is a danger of seepage of different chemicals from this landfill site. There is a probability which is very harmful for the nearby area. Okay, as if different type of chemical or toxic material start seepaging from this area, they will further go into the different water bodies and are mainly responsible to contaminate the water bodies. We can classify solid waste into various categories. First one is biodegradable, then recyclable, and then non-biodegradable. In biodegradable, all the kind of kitchen waste, fruit, peels comes under this category. Recyclable means metal item, e-waste comes under recyclable category. Non-biodegradable, only plastic bags comes in this category. Okay, so to avoid to create different type of solid waste, we have to use eco-friendly packaging just to avoid plastic bags and paper bag or cloth bag. Okay, we can do our bit by carrying cloth bag or natural fiber bag too. Now let's discuss what waste comes under hospital waste category. Like various harmful chemicals, disinfectant, okay, pathogen microbes, okay, some these waste which are actually generated from the hospital must be carefully treated before disposal. The use of incinerators is crucial to disposal of hospital. E-waste, all the kind of electronic items comes under e-waste category. Okay, and what is the solution to reduce the amount? Recycling of these electronic items is the only solution for the treatment of e-waste. Over half of the e-waste actually generated in the developed country like USA, like Canada or European country, they are actually exported their e-waste to the developing country like India, Pakistan, China. China is a developed country where these developing country further use their metals like copper, iron, silicon, nickel, gold. They recover these metals from the e-waste and use it further. Okay. Unlike developed countries which have specifically built facilities for recycling of e-waste, recycling in developing countries like India and Pakistan often involve manual participation. So all the workers who are involved in this particular type of work, they can affected by the toxic or harmful effect of these e-waste. Okay. Now let's discuss a case study which is related to reduce the plastic waste. So there was the term for this is polyband. Use of polyband remedy for reducing plastic waste. A person named Ahmed Khan, who is a plastic sack manufacturer in Bangalore, he actually mainly responsible to develop this polyband. What is this polyband? It is a fine powder of recycled modified plastic. This mixture is mixed with the bitumen and then further used to develop roads or lay down the roads. Okay, what is polyband? Polyband is a fine powder of recycled modified plastic. Okay, Ahmed Khan provide the band of polyband and bitumen, enhance water repellent property, and help to increase road life by the factor of 3. 3 times road life will get actually got increase when he mixed with this polyband with the bitumen and apply this mixture for construct a road or lay down the road. Okay. So for the raw material for creating this polyband is any type of plastic film waste. Okay. So normally a rag picker or plastic collector kits or person use this money 0.40 rupees 0.40 per kg. While when he start doing this work, this Ahmed Khan offer them 6 rupees per kg for each kg plastic waste. Okay, so it is a very good example how we can use plastic as a constructive form. Okay, so by the year of 2002, more than 40 kilometer of road in Bangalore has already been laid down by this person with the help of by the utilization of this plastic polyband. So it is a very good case study which is further used in our country or nearby country as a remedy for plastic waste. Now, agrochemicals and their effect. Agrochemicals like inorganic fertilizers, certain kind of pesticides, which has been used in various farmland to enhance the crop production. Okay, people, various farmer use pesticide, herbicide, and fungicides. Okay, but these are very toxic to the no target organism, and they are also accumulating slowly in our soil, in a soil ecosystem, so enhance the salinity of soil. Okay, or they can biomagnified itself. Okay, their concentration slowly increase, which will create several other kinds of problem. Okay, so we have to reduce the use of chemical fertilizer and use some biofertilizer and some natural way to enhance the production and to just repellent out pest. Okay, so for that there is another case study known as integrated organic farming. For this, a well-known farmer known as Ramesh Chandra Dangarji. Ramesh Chandra Dangar, he belonged to Sonipat, Haryana. He actually utilized a technique known as integrated organic farming, in which zero waste has been produced, and as it is a cyclic process, okay, where waste product from one process are cycled as a nutrient for the other process, means maximum utilization of resources, and it will increase the efficiency of the production also. So this Ramesh Chandra Dangarji include beekeeping, dairy management, water harvesting and composting, and agriculture in integrated organic farming. Beekeeping, dairy management, water harvesting, composting, and agriculture. 4 different type of things which is related to agriculture. He actually found it's extremely economic and sustainable venture. There is no need to use any type of chemical fertilizer for enhance the crop growth, as he used cattle excreta, means dung or gobar, as a manure, and crop waste, he used crop waste to create compost, okay, which is again a natural fertilizer, or he can use this to generate a natural gas also, to satisfying the energy need of the farms. And bees, he used bees for the honey, to generate honey, and bees also act as a very good pollinator. Okay, so this is how he used each and every aspect, okay, with zero waste. Dangar has created Haryana Kisan Welfare Club also, in which approximately 5,000 farmers are member of that club, and he currently also is spreading information about integrated organic farming to all the farmers. So this is how just now we have discussed 2 different examples. First is to reduce how we can reduce the plastic waste. Second one, how we can avoid to use of pesticide, different kind of fertilizer and other things by utilizing natural things. Okay, now let's discuss radioactive waste. Radioactive waste means use of nuclear energy. Okay, has actually 2 very serious problems. First is their accidental leakage from their storage site, which already happened. There are 2 different examples, 3 Mile Island and Charboni incident. Accidental leakage occur in these 2 events. And second is its safe disposal of radioactive waste, how we can safely dispose it of, as nuclear waste radiation is extremely harmful, extremely toxic, or it extremely causing different kind of damage to the organism, because its mutation rate is very high. At high dose, these radiations, nuclear radiations, is lethal, and at lower dose it create various disorder, and most frequently all being cancer. Okay, therefore natural waste is an extremely potent pollutant and has to be dealt with the utmost conscious. It is recommended to store nuclear waste after sufficient pre-treatment and in a sealed container buried within the rock and about 500 meter deep below the earth's surface. Now let's discuss another important topic, that is greenhouse effect. Greenhouse is look like a small glass house, and is used for growing plant. There is a certain kind of greenhouses are also, if it you can just imagine there is a glass house in which we are just growing certain kind of plants, especially during winter. Then what will happen? Sunlight comes inside the greenhouse, but there is no evaporation go outside the that glass because of the presence of the light, and also for the heat also captured inside the glass only. That glass surface is not allow heat to go out. Okay, so in the greenhouse, the glass panel let the light in, but does not allow heat to escape. Am I right? So does not allow heat to escape. Therefore, the greenhouse warm up after some time, and very much just like in a car. As you can see, if you sit inside a car and that has been parked in the sun for few hours, how hot it would be, because car glass window is not allowed to go heat to get out from the car. Okay, so slowly the temperature will get increase, right? So as you can see over here, this is a picture, this is a sun rays come towards the earth, some rays, this is the atmosphere, they again, some sunlight that hit the earth is reflect back, and some become heat and then again come towards the earth. Carbon dioxide and other gases which are present on the atmosphere actually trap that heat and keeping the earth warm. Okay, so greenhouse effect is actually a natural process. It is a natural occurring phenomena that is responsible for heating our earth surface and the atmosphere. Without greenhouse effect, the average temperature of our earth surface would be -18, rather than these days, which is almost 15 degrees centigrade in Western countries, but 20-25 in our country. Okay, because of the presence of certain kind of cloud and gases, these actually reflect 1/4 of the incoming solar radiation and absorb some of it, but almost half of incoming solar radiation fall on the earth surface, actually heating our earth surface, while only a small proportion is reflecting back. Okay, earth surface re-emit the heat in the form of infrared radiation, but parts of this does not escape into the space, as atmospheric gases are present like carbon dioxide, methane. These gases mainly absorb the major fraction of these infrared radiation. Okay, so molecule of these gases radiate heat energy, and a major part of which again come to the earth surface, thus heating it up once again. This cycle is repeated many times. Carbon dioxide and methane, these two are commonly known as greenhouse gases because these two are responsible for greenhouse effect. Okay. Increase in the level of greenhouse gases has led to considerable heating the earth temperature, or we can say global warming. During past century, the temperature of our earth has increased 0.6 degree, most of it during the last 3 decades. Scientists believe that this rise in temperature is leading to deleterious effect change in the environment and resulting the odd climatic conditions, which is known as EI Nino effect, E1 Nino effect, thus leading to increased melting of what is the harmful effect, deleterious effect, melting of polar ice, as well as other places like Himalayan snow cap. Over many years, this will result in the rise of sea level, thus can submerge many coastal areas. Continuously melting of glaciers occur, then obviously that glacier will get converted into the water, and ultimately that water comes towards the sea and sea level get high. So all the coastal area which is present in the land of various continents, that there is a chance to get submerged. Okay. Now, how we can control global warming? Just to reduce use of, we can reduce the dependency on fossil fuel, so cutting down the use of fossil fuel, improving efficiency of energy uses, reducing deforestation, increasing afforestation, slowing down the growth of human population. Now, next topic which we have to discuss in this particular lecture is deforestation and reforestation. Okay, deforestation, conversion of forested area into non-forested area. Okay, this is deforestation. Almost 40% of forest has been lost in the tropics area, 40% in tropical area, as compared to only 1% in the temperate region. So mostly deforestation occur in the tropical area. Okay, in the beginning of 20th century, forest cover approximately 30% of the land in India, but by the end of this century, it shrink to 21.54%. Okay, if we are talking about the India, our country, then National Forest Policy, this is in 1988, has recommended that 33% forest cover for plains and 67 forest cover for the hill. This policy, National Forest Policy, suggested 33% forest must be there in the land area, while 67% must be there in the hill area. Now, what is the major reason of deforestation? Why deforestation occurs so fast? This conversion of forest into agriculture land, so as to feed the growing human population. This is the major reason, just conversion of forest area into the agriculture land. Slash and burn agriculture, which is also known as jhum cultivation. It is a popular cultivation method followed by some people in northeastern state of India, in which farmer actually cut down the tree, as you can see over here, cut down the tree of the forest, burn them, burn the plant remains. They further use that ash as a fertilizer for them, and the land further they use for their farming purpose and cattle grazing purpose. So initially farmers cut down the tree of the forest, burn the plant remedies, and then use the ash of the plant as a fertilizer and the land for their farming purpose and cattle grazing. After cultivation, the area is left for several years, so to allow recover. For its recovery, farmer then move to the other area and repeat this process. Okay, as you can see here, these are the some slash and burned area. But again, development of a forest, it will take so much time. Okay, so why it happened? Because of the overpopulation. Okay, they need to cultivate more crops, more yield, more vegetation. But this is the method normally followed in northeastern state of India. Okay, so overpopulation, repeated cultivation actually decrease the recovery phase, resulting in deforestation. What is the consequences of this deforestation? If deforestation occur continuously, then carbon dioxide concentration will get increased. Okay, so the carbon dioxide concentration, why it increase? Because the trees are mainly actually convert the atmospheric carbon dioxide into their biomass. But if amount of forest or amount of tree declines so much, then how they hold this carbon dioxide, how they fix this carbon as a starch? So that's why carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere increase. If we continuously doing this deforestation, then the loss of biodiversity also occur for that particular area. Because of habitat destruction, means all the animals, all the plants, and all the dependent animals to each other, they also get disappear slowly. And it also disturb hydrologic cycle. Soil erosion is another major um, bad effect of deforestation. Desertification is also another major consequence of deforestation. So to reduce this deforestation, what is the method? What we can do? Reforestation. This is the only method to restore the forest, in which naturally it may occur naturally in the deforested area, or if human actively participate in this process, we can speed it up in a very fast way. Okay. So some case study are also there in your book that is related to conservation of forest. One case study, this is related to some Vishnoi community, as it is mentioned in your book. In 1731, the king of Jodhpur in Rajasthan asked one of his ministers to arrange wood for the construction of new palaces. So minister and workers start searching the type of wood and type of jungle. Okay, so they went to a forest near a village, which is in that particular village, all Vishnoi Samaj people were used to live in that particular area. And this Vishnoi community is known for its peaceful coexistence with the nature. Okay, and they are very much devoted towards the nature. So when the people of the king start cutting down the trees, a Vishnoi woman known as Amrita Devi show exemplary courage by hugging a tree and daring kingman to cut her first before cutting the tree. But because of king's wish, all the king's men didn't heed to her pleas and cut down the tree along with the Amrita Devi. Her three daughter and hundred of other Vishnoi followers also lost their life during this movement. Okay, after this, after freedom, our government of India have recently instituted the Amrita Devi Vishnoi Wildlife Protection Award in her honor for all those individual or all those communities come from the rural area that have shown extraordinary courage and dedication in protecting wildlife. This is known as Vishnoi movement. Another movement is known as Chipko movement. In 1974, local women of Uttaranchal actually show enormous bravery in protecting trees from acts of contractor by hugging them. You can see this picture. Okay, just to tell them they are not going to allow to do this, just deforestation or convert this forest into urban area. Okay, so government of India in 1980 has introduced a concept of joint forest management to work closely with the local communities for protecting and managing forest. In return of their services to the forest, communities get benefit for various forest products like fruit, jam, rubber, medicine. They can grow them, they can sell them. So this is how there is a collaboration between government and the local. So this is all about the topics related to environmental issue part 2. I hope most of the things has been cleared now. If still you have any query, any doubt related to today's topic, please let me know. We will discuss it later on. Till then, take care, bye-bye, and keep learning. Namaskar.